WWE superstar Roman Reigns.
You are now listening to the official Wrestling News Source podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or check us out on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast. Now being broadcast in over 45 countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
Tyler Abear.
I'm Doug.
And we welcome you to episode 274 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNSvideo, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We're on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
At WNS Podcast, at WNS_Daniel, and at Tyler_Abear on Twitter.
Good stuff. So welcome to the show. Got plenty to talk about this week. We've got iTunes reviews, feedback, Raw, hot topics, Q&A, all the good stuff, and maybe a little bit more. Who knows? But first, how you guys doing?
Aight.
Yeah, you hanging in there?
Hang in there. I said big burger.
Yeah, you did. Well, I guess. Three patty burger from Wendy's. They treat you right?
Yep.
Was it fresh,
we'll
never
see
frozen?
how it treats me later on.
I guess we will.
Yep.
So, yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. Doug, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
It's weird that you do this every week because I know it's like, I guess your catchphrase or whatever, but we like talk for like 30 minutes before we start the show so you know how we're doing, but you like ask anyway on the show. Like, I know how you're doing, you know how I'm doing. I guess it's just the...
It's so the fans can know, how have you been since last we heard you? Making sure you're still okay.
I'll tell them.
Hanging in there.
I did great. I pooped a lot since last time you heard me.
See, that's what the listeners need to know.
I can't tell you how many times I pooped, so... but
at least twice a day, right?
Yeah, well, it goes on to, more than my fingers, goes on to my toes for sure.
Okay.
How many times I can count.
Good to know. Thank you for sharing.
Poop dollar.
We appreciate it. So welcome to the show. Like I said, I got plenty to talk about. First, we'll kick things off with an iTunes review. Someone has something nice to say about our show, and we kick things off talking about how many poops Tyler takes in a week. But the first review
Can I say, I hate the word poop. Can you just say shit like a normal person?
Shit.
I hate when people say that. I don't know. It's just like a...
He goes to have a bowel movement.
I don't like that word. I don't know why.
We need to know how many movements Tyler has in a given week.
I think I say it a lot more because they did the episode of Poop Dollar on Workaholics. There's poop in that dollar.
What about the word poop do you not like?
I don't know.
Is it just like the sound? Or is
it's not like, that's a gross sound. It's not like, I'm grossed out by that. It's like, that sounds kind of dumb. Why don't you just say shit or something?
Well, for, the younger audience who, you try to avoid that kind of talk around and,
Feces.
I don't know why. The words just always bothered me. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, there you go.
It's a pet peeve. I don't know what it is.
We need to get a vote on it. Who likes to say poop and who likes to say shit?
Yeah, we need a ratio here. We need to know. So this week's chime in the comment sections, whether it be on our Facebook page, WNS Podcast, or on the YouTube channel, WNSvideo. Let us know, poop or shit. We need to know. So this is crucial information regarding wrestling talk on a podcast.
I mean, I don't really care. I just think it sounds dumb. It's like a pet peeve. I don't know why.
That's fine. So with that being said, let's dive into the iTunes review, shall we?
Okay.
All right, we got an iTunes review, which we always appreciate. So if you happen to be listening to us on iTunes, feel free to give us a review. This one's coming to us from White Like Bryce, giving us 5 stars, saying, "This is awesome." And the quote there, the review says, "WNS has been my go-to for wrestling news and spoilers for a couple of years now. However, I just recently decided to give your podcast a chance around episode 260. After listening to a few episodes, I was hooked instantly and regretted not giving it a listen episodes prior. I now look forward to a new episode of the podcast every week, along with going back and listening to your older episodes whenever I get the chance. I still cannot believe Tyler got a travel pack of cereal from Santa Claus. This has easily become my favorite podcast, period.
Yeah,
Keep it up, guys.
It happened.
So thank you very much.
And I'm the only one who remembers that. Me and my sister.
Cereal. One of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. But thank you very much for the iTunes review. We do appreciate it. So, all right. Good deal. So, with that being said, let's go into some feedback. We had quite a long bit of feedback on our YouTube channel, so we're going to save that for the Q&A portion since there are a couple questions that lead into it afterwards. So that way we don't get too long-winded in the beginning. But our feedback's coming from Canadian War Machine, saying, hope this isn't too long. Nice try, Tyler. Hope this isn't too long. Just wanted to touch on some stuff. I know my Mania review was long and now come and gone, but just wanted to say match is good, but I think Vince threw darts at guys' photos to pick who won. I personally give Payback a C-, but that might be because I went to 2 local indie shows the same weekend, and TNA is signing new, younger talent, which I think could be good. Hopefully, new investor renames the company and puts the right people in charge. But best thing about TNA now is Decay. Favorite team in wrestling right now, and TNA isn't fucking them up. Yet. Keep up the good work. I look forward to the show every week. So thank you, Canadian War Machine.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can't agree with the C-.
Yeah?
I think it was easily better than that, but I mean, you enjoy whatever you enjoy, I guess.
Yeah. So thank you, but we do appreciate the feedback. So really good stuff. Let's dive on into Raw as we get closer to Extreme Rules, now less than 2 weeks away. It's coming up fast.
Yeah.
So at least their matches are, developing into the Extreme Rules matches. So there's storylines and feuds and stuff like that are developing.
You remember a while back when we had, I thought it was like 3.
It was like 3 in a 6-week span or something like that.
Yeah, but I think I remember how they developed each time or whatever into the next pay-per-view. It wasn't like thrown together. Maybe there was like one match or something like that, but
they tend to do that every once in a while. What cracks me up is that whenever they have the short turnarounds like that, those pay-per-views tend to be better than the ones that were prior.
yeah, I think that's what I was getting at.
So between Payback and Extreme Rules, a very quick turnaround. So they were able to put some matches together very quickly, and I think it might lead into some pretty good matches, some at least fun matches because it is Extreme Rules. So more chaos will ensue. But we kick things off with Chris Jericho coming out with his talk show, which is how you always want to start off Monday Night Raw. He's talking about a plant, so good for him. I don't know. I get it. The crowd started making a joke about the plant. Oh God, we've lost Mitch. Here's to the memory, and they took it and tried to run with it, but they kind of instantly ran it to the ground, so that hopefully, I guess, no one will talk about it after this.
Of all the things, and I didn't see this, but of all the things to pick up and run with, that is an odd choice.
Because that was
why not? I mean, there are plenty of things that the crowd gets behind that they seem to neglect.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I mean,
they showed all the pictures from Instagram and Twitter about rest in peace, Mitch, and Dean Ambrose, avenge him, and just the most ridiculous stuff.
He named him last week for the first time, right? The Raw before this
I
one.
think so.
This is he named the plant. So
I don't know. I didn't see it, so you can't.
Yeah.
You definitely can't take my opinion for anything of any value, but it sounds awful.
Yeah. Rather than actually enhancing the feud, it was hey, let's talk about a broken potted plant that was given a name Mitch. For 5 minutes he talked about this.
It was pretty constant.
Yeah. But fortunately, they did try and divert from the fact, Jericho saying, Ambrose isn't here. He's not going to be here this week. I'm the one who took him out, and that's just something you're going to have to get used to. But Big Cass ends up interrupting, and nice try again, Tyler. coming out and said, hey, we're not about talking. This new era is about fighting, so let's fight. And Jericho backs down, says, nah, you're basically not worth my time.
I just thought it was cool that, because you didn't know what they're going to do with Cass until Enzo comes back.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool just to put him in front of Jericho, and
It
he's
was a nice
the
surprise.
tough guy. Hey, I'm ready to fight and all that stuff. And then was it announced in that promo, or did he ask him he wants a match tonight, or he wants to?
Well, he wanted to fight. Jericho said no. Then Cass called him soft. Jericho went to the ring and got kicked off. And then he went back. Jericho went backstage, found Stephanie, and was like, "Did you see what happened?" And she's like, "Yeah." So you two are gonna fight in the main event.
When he said that, I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool that Cass is gonna be in the main event."
Yeah, for him to say, "Wow, he just debuted a couple weeks ago. He's gonna be the main event on Raw." That's pretty big for his character. I know a lot of fans online during the time were kind of concerned, be like, "Wow, that's a little fast," but you do what you got to do. And then we later on saw how it played out, which was about where I thought it was going to go. I figured the match was going to start before what happened, but we'll dive into that a little bit later on. So the main event was set, Big Cass versus Jericho, and we'll dive on into that in a little bit. But the first matchup we got to see, Baron Corbin going up against Dolph Ziggler. I don't know, not too much for me to remember about this matchup.
Me either.
Yeah. Baron Corbin gets the win, just hopefully into this feud so that they can both move on to bigger and better things. Who knows?
I was about to say, I don't know if Ziggler is moving on to bigger and better things, but Corbin is.
Yeah. And there were a lot of backstage segments during this Raw that I felt, some played into what happened later on in Raw, some did not. So most of the stuff we're going to talk about isn't about the backstage stuff. So if we skip past that, that's why. Because, it portrayed later on anyways. But the next matchup we got to see R-Truth going up against, what was it, Fandango? Yeah. And I'm ready for this thing to end. Like, it's gone on long enough. I don't know why they decided, hey, let's make this R-Truth and Goldust a thing for 5 months, but it's gone on long enough.
Longer than I expected or wanted, but I did laugh at Fandango just pelvic thrusting in the ring.
Yeah.
And Goldust.
And R-Truth, bleached his braids.
Yeah, he has golden tips.
Yeah, to try and match with Tyler Breeze now. Very strange. It looks weird.
The match ended up...
R-Truth ended up getting the win.
He bounced off the ropes and hit Tyler? Or what happened?
I don't remember. Honestly, I was not focused on this match at all. So,
but he still got the win.
I wasn't focused in this match. I had no interest in this match. I have no interest in this story that they are continuously telling. Just let it come to an end. Either pair them up as a tag team or don't. Just make it stop, please.
You may not know. It may have turned out good at the end or something.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows? They'll probably end up being a 4-person stable to feud with the Social Outcasts.
We'll see.
Yeah. So after that, we got to see Paige going up against Charlotte, and earlier in the night, Charlotte and Ric Flair decided to suck up to Shane O'Mac, saying, "Hey, you can't." Stephanie banned Rick from ringside for Extreme Rules. She can't do that.
Rick was like, "Hey, man, you're my favorite McMahon."
Yeah, you're my favorite. The spot you did at WrestleMania was the best ever. You're awesome. You're great. How about you lift that ban for Extreme Rules? And he goes, "No." Shane says, "No, I think we're going to keep that in play. And actually, we're going to add to it because, Rick, you're banned from ringside as well for tonight." So it was Paige versus Charlotte with no Ric Flair.
They play to Stephanie and Shane this episode were really tight.
Yeah. They didn't have a whole lot of interaction with one another, but
until the end, I think.
Yeah. So
because Chris Jericho was playing to Stephanie, earlier, like, "Oh, your brother's stupid, but you're the smarter McMahon," just like Ric Flair was playing to Shane about Stephanie. So
and they
did not break. So
yeah, she defended Shane, and then Shane upheld Stephanie's ruling, so they're not crossing each other and doing all that yet. But we got to see Paige versus Charlotte, and Natalya was on commentary.
The problem with that, though, and again, I didn't see this, but the problem with that seems to be that they've already tilted, like, they've already tipped their hand, like, the very first night with the way Stephanie broke down on Ambrose. So we all know where this is going eventually. They should have kept it like this for at least the first,
month.
Yeah, something like that before they sort of, like tease the dissension. Because they've already tipped their hand where they're going.
Yeah.
The first night.
And they kind of did it at the end of Raw as well.
Okay.
It was just a slight little thing that she, Shane was like, hey, we made a pretty good team tonight. And she was like, yeah, we sure did. And he was like, oh, you mind if I take this call? And walked off. And Stephanie grabs the picture of Shane and Vince, and she smiles, and then it kind of just fades, and she gives like an odd look.
No, she didn't fade. She kept the smile the whole time.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I remember.
No. She started making like an odd.
Because I remember her. I was waiting for it to fade, and it didn't.
Have to
go
go
watch
back
it
and,
again.
Yeah, I guess we'll both have to go back and rewatch it. But Paige versus Charlotte. A lot of fans were saying, "Where the hell's Paige been?" Well, she's not in the storyline, so that's where she's been. Same place that Alicia Fox and all the others are out. Actually, I saw that Naomi and Tamina are both out with an injury right now. So
that's what happens when you go ass to mouth.
Only people who read my tweets would understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, so we got to see Paige versus Charlotte. Rick disobeys Shane O'Mac's demands and comes out, and Shane comes out and escorts him away. The match ends with Paige getting the victory over Charlotte. So what a way to book your champion. Have her lose. Yeah.
They kind of focused on...
cleanly?
Yep.
They focused a lot on commentary.
With a roll-up, of course.
JBL was against Natalya.
Yeah, Natalya was on commentary.
And they were kind of
like, "Hey, did you say you quit on that at that match?" And she was like, "No, of course not." And JBL was like, "Oh, I think you're whatever."
Yeah, that was
ball game.
He says ball game a lot.
Yeah. So Paige ends up defeating Charlotte. So technically, she should be in the title match now, right? Triple threat match. Yeah, we're not going to see that. So after that, we got to see a match between Sami Zayn and The Miz, and this was one of those backstage segments that led into this. Summed up, if Sami Zayn defeats The Miz, it turns into a fatal four-way because there was a backstage segment with Cesaro, Owens, and Miz all arguing with one another, and Zayn comes out and says, hey, I think I deserve a chance to be in this match because I've got some unfinished business here.
Let me prove it to you.
Let me prove that I deserve to be in this spot. So Stephanie and Shane said, okay, well, if you can defeat The Miz, we'll make it a fatal four-way. And to credit what you had said last week was like, there's no sense in it and all that. Owens did bring that up. He was like, dude, he lost. There's no reason why he should even be in this match, So, and then Zayn played off of it. It was like, well, let me, give me a chance to try and prove myself that I could be in this match.
What was the finish exactly?
For Sami Zayn and Miz?
He just flat out beat
Haluva kick.
Yeah, Haluva kick for the win.
Okay.
It was a solid matchup. These guys had some good chemistry together, and I think it was probably one of the more enjoyable matches of the night. Yeah. So the Intercontinental title match at Extreme Rules is now a fatal four-way. So Sami Zayn, Miz, Cesaro, and Kevin Owens.
I mean, at least they went through the extra effort of setting him up a reason to be in it. Because I hate when they're just like, yeah, he's just in the match.
He's just in it. Yeah, sure. He asked, and we said sure.
At least they took the extra step and made sense.
Also, another thing, I don't know if you have it on there, I'm skipping, but also another thing of the night, Zack Ryder was talking to Shane McMahon about, he had the WrestleMania moment. Then Kevin Owens came in. It's like, yeah, you don't deserve anything or whatever like that, blah, blah, blah. And then Shane was like, you know what? I'm going to make a match between y'all tonight. And if Zack Ryder wins, he's taking your spot in the Fatal 4-Way.
Mm-hmm.
And Owens won?
Yes.
That's awesome
Yeah.
booking, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's the simple things where it's like,
It's hard to make people not like Kevin Owens, but little things like that go like a little ways towards like keeping him like established as a heel instead
Yeah.
of letting the crowd like turn him on their own or whatever.
yeah. I mean, he came out going, what have you done? Like, how long have you been here? Why are you still here? And Ryder was like, well, I think I should be in the match because I beat you for the title at WrestleMania. And he was like, you stole it. You didn't beat me. And so that's when Shane was like, okay, well, here's a chance. If he does beat you, he gets in the match and you're out. So that led to a match a little bit later on. But after that match between Miz and Sami Zayn, we got to see a backstage segment with Becky Lynch talking about the match the week prior with Emma, where Emma got the win with the thumb to the eye for the win. Becky Lynch saying, that wasn't an accident. What happened to my eye at WrestleMania? That was an accident. Then Emma came out and was talking trash, and from out of nowhere, Dana Brooke attacks. So we got to see Dana Brooke's Raw debut.
So they're keeping them together, like her and Emma.
Yes.
Okay.
Going back to what they were doing on NXT, which is fine. I don't know. Like I felt that the debut was a little flat just because.
It wasn't a debut of wrestling debut. It was just the
right, but it was like the first time that we see her. So for fans who aren't watching NXT, all they see is Becky Lynch go down. We see the legs of Dana Brooke, and the camera's like doing its little shaky thing or whatever, and then it pans up. Like, fans who watch NXT, they know it's Dana Brooke because you can kind of see her face. Mm-hmm. But they make it to where it's like unrecognizable at first. Like if this was the screen they're presenting, it's just doing that.
Like the shaky beat down cam.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, there's Dana Brooke. Yeah.
I mean,
that's
did
her.
they clear it in the end, or did they?
Yeah, like
she talks, she says something.
Yeah, Emma like picks her up, and Dana looks like she's gonna go hit her, and goes no, and she pats her on the head, and they walk off. So it looks like they're gonna be a tag team players.
Filling a spot.
Yep. So after that, we got to see a video package featuring Darren Young, and
I'm really interested in this.
Mr. Bob Backlund.
Bob Backlund, of all
liked
people.
it.
I haven't seen. Did it come off good or what?
It seemed like their timing was a little off because
I enjoyed it. I think it was.
I don't know if they shot this beforehand or just said screw it, let's just do it live. But Darren Young,
it works though.
Darren Young did a speech, and then it was like,
can you not to be annoying, but can you guys just sort of tell me everything that happened? Because I don't know. I just know that they put him with Bob Backlund, so I don't know what he said or anything.
Yeah. I mean, Darren was basically talking about it's time for a change. I forget exactly what he was saying.
He needs a change in his life. He needs a life coach.
He needs a life
He goes, I got the guy just for that. And then they
They
he's
go-
on one side, and it's kind of like,
Then it pans
someone
over
talks to
split
someone
screen.
through a camera, and they're on the other side or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Backlund, they show Bob Backlund. It's like, Mr. Bob Backlund. And it's like a
There's like a 6-second delay or something.
yeah, it's like, well, I think they did it on purpose. There's a delay. It's like, would you be my life coach? And he's like,
He just
then for a while he's like, yeah, well,
Yes, I will be
I'll
your
be your coach. I'll be your wrestling coach. He goes, whoa, no. Well, I don't need a wrestling coach. He goes, I know how to wrestle, but I need a life coach. That'd be so good. He's like, oh yeah, I'll be your life coach. And the first thing for your life coach is wrestling is life.
Nice.
So yeah, it was good though.
it should be interesting
Because
to
I'm
see.
here to make Darren Young great again.
Yeah. So
I'm interested to see where they go with this.
We'll show you it after.
anything to
Sure.
see Bob Backlund on live TV is going to be interesting. So yeah, make Darren Young great
You know
again.
what I liked about Bob Backlund? What was that? It was in TNA when they did the X Division stuff, and they had those rules, and Kevin Nash would quote the quote rules about the what was that thing he used to put on? It was like that those tests with the X Division guys, and they're like, "Is this regulated?" He goes, "Yeah, this is Bob Backlund regulated." He always said something. Bob Backlund regulated this, and
I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I know it was it started off with Alex Shelley doing the paparazzi productions thing.
yeah,
he was the guy who was supposedly filming it or whatever. I don't remember what exactly.
it was
he
goofy stuff, and
Yeah, yeah.
Kevin Nash okayed everything. He's like, "Yep, Bob Backlund approved."
Wow. So after that, we got to see Sin Cara going up against Rusev, who is the number one contender for the United States title, and Kalisto was ringside. Lana was ringside.
He's been doing a lot of goofy stuff lately. I mean, he's like the tough heel, but like he's like mixing with a little goofiness.
He's mixing in his personality.
I like it.
Which is good to see. What is not good to see was the outcome of this match, and that is the fact that the number one contender for the United States title lost cleanly to Sin Cara. Nothing against Sin Cara getting a win, but it was the fact that it was a clean loss. He's the number one contender. Where's the logic in that? So, by that account, Sin Cara should be the number one contender, and it's going to be Sin Cara versus Kalisto for the United States title in Extreme Rules. I'm just saying. I don't know.
He still looked good, though.
How far Rusev has fallen. Did you guys happen to see his little interview segment with Michael Cole?
Yeah. Or no, I saw
just
the
that
part
one little clip.
Yeah.
I didn't see the thing. I think John tagged me in on Facebook, and I looked at the cameras thing.
I'm used to seeing cameras in my house all the time. We film stuff all the time.
He's just like...
I mean, for security reasons.
You guys remember when everyone's like, we want Lana, and everyone thought that Lana was the star, and I was like, you guys got it twisted. Rusev is the star.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Everyone
Rusev's
sees it.
being the man. I don't know. I'm just going to gloat about how right I was there. Just going to gloat a little bit about how right I was.
Cue the music. Doug was right. Psh.
All right. That's good enough for me.
All right. Cool deal. It'll gradually get bigger and bigger. I'll add like a full piece, 40-piece orchestra and all that. There'll be shirts.
Here's another thing that you put on here. I thought it was retarded, but the up, down, down thing. Like we go to Xavier Woods.
The Pizza Hut plug and all that.
It was I was like, that's crazy. They're talking about, or they're gonna go to a clip of it on there, and then it looked weird. It was a regular
production
setup.
was different.
It was like it looks a little different, and then it was a pizza.
Here comes Dolph Ziggler. He's got Pizza Hut.
So it was Pizza Hut placement with up, down, down stuff. So like that was weird.
Ball game.
How many times did he say it? That
I don't know how many times he said it. I know I said it quite a bit.
Yeah, you
Just
did.
because I'm sick of listening to him. Yeah, so they did a little plug for Pizza Hut. Good for them. They're making money. After that, we got a little video package for the re-debut of Epico and Primo. They're going to be coming all the way from the Caribbean next week. So I mean, the place is so nice. Why would you want to leave?
They only wrestle in Puerto Rico.
Why would you want to leave 300 days of the year to travel?
So what's their thing?
Via rent-a-car.
What do you think their thing's going to be?
They're Puerto
just
Ricans.
come out and then it's like, hey, we need to go Puerto Rico, or talk how Puerto Rico's good and that's it, or how they're better than people, or are they spit in the face of people who don't think they're cool? Or
Welcome to the world of WWE Creative.
I mean, I don't understand.
Welcome to the world of WWE Creative. Doug, any thoughts on what we're gonna see from Epico and Primo?
I'm not sure, but I'm not positive that just because I don't know what the gimmick is specifically that it's going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that it's been kept vague. It's not necessarily a good thing either.
Are they going to come out and dance, or
I don't know, man.
is it going to be like
Way, Jose.
Brodus Clay?
I don't know. I mean, I don't get that vibe, but then again, I didn't get that vibe when Brodus Clay did that.
No way, Jose.
No way, Jose. No way, Jose. So, I guess we'll have to see next week what happens. Because
has he been back on? I only saw his. I think the last match I saw of his was his debut match.
Yeah, I only saw his debut match.
I didn't even see that. So, after that, we got to see a 6-man elimination tag match. Reigns and Usos going up against The Club.
Yeah, they're calling The Club now.
The Club. Not the club sandwich. Not the club that you use to secure your driver's...
They're just giving them a name until the Balor situation happens. And it's going to be the Balor Club. So
allegedly.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So,
they should name it The Club.
The Club?
Yeah.
Like 50 cents?
Yep. 50 cents.
50 cent apostrophe S. 50 cents in the club.
Yes.
Bottle full of bub. Mama. Got what you need. Anyways, so it was a 6-man elimination tag match. It ended up coming down to Reigns and Styles, and they were brawling. And then Gallows and Anderson came out to attack Reigns. The match is thrown out. Disqualification. Reigns and Usos get the win. Then the Usos come out and attack, and they chase them off.
Well, there was
a standoff.
A thing, like a backstage segment between both of the parties.
Yeah.
During the night.
Styles was like, you know what? If he's going to be like that, then fine. The club's back together.
He goes, he put me through a table. Did he say that? Or he goes, I was going to hit him with a
chair. He
powerbombed
me through a table.
And, I hesitate to hit him with a chair, but, I'm not going to hesitate anymore.
Mm-hmm. Screw it. The club is back. So, I don't know. I mean, the match was okay. Nothing really wowed me in it. So, it was all right. Wow. After that, we got to see Kevin Owens going up against Zack Ryder. And
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a fine match. And it's sad that Ryder has become so predictable in what happens in his match. Like, as soon as he delivers the broski boot, within 30 seconds, the match is going to be over.
Well, he didn't do the broski boot.
Yes, he did. He did it on the outside.
Oh, okay.
And then he rolled Kevin Owens back in, went for a move. Owens countered it. Powerbomb. Ball game! Pin 1, 2, 3.
That's now Daniel's catchphrase. He
Nope.
stole it from JBL.
Yeah, I'll make it better.
Nope.
Yep. So, after that, we got to see the Dudley Boys go up against the New Day. Any thoughts on this matchup, Tyler?
What was the promo New Day cut?
Questioning on how you pronounce vaudevillains. Is it vaudevillains? It's vaudevillains.
Villains.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. But the crowd was hot for it, which is good. The matchup itself was fine. There was a distraction from the vaudevillains who came out to attack Xavier Woods. And then Devon hit a wicked sick clothesline on Kofi for the pin, 1, 2, 3. So Dudley Boys end up getting the victory over New Day. So once again, your champion is looking weak. And by that account, the Dudley Boys should now be in the title picture. So it should be a triple threat tag match for the tag titles.
They kind of look weak, but it didn't take nothing away from them, I feel like.
Still, in the eyes of logic, of WWE of old, if you beat the champs, you get a title shot. So Paige should get a title shot. New Day should be in there.
Your mom should get a title shot.
My mom should get a title shot. Yeah. All that good stuff. Final matchup we got to see ended up not being a match at all. Big Cass comes out. Chris Jericho comes out. Pyro goes off. The lights go out. Jericho's vest turns on. And all of a sudden you see him run towards the Titantron and fall down. And the jacket comes off.
Yeah, someone takes the jacket off of him and puts it on. Who is that walking down the ramp?
Who could it possibly be? Ladies and gentlemen, it is Dean Ambrose. He's back from the hospital.
And then
what a big reveal.
Ring, and then he tears up the jacket, the
$15,000
jacket.
Which is actually probably like $1,500. But who am I to judge?
Then he beat up Jericho.
Yeah. And tore the jacket.
You know, hey, man.
Jacket's no more. Kelsey's going to be pissed.
A jacket for a plant.
That's right. Eye for an eye.
Oh,
and a jacket for a
Cass
plant.
did get a hold of Jericho on the outside.
Yeah.
And then threw him in the ring. That was pretty much
so it kept him looking strong. But, and that was the thing where I was like, there's got to be, Ambrose is going to appear in this matchup.
I didn't expect that, like, a jump. And I was expecting a match and him to interfere in the match.
That's what I was thinking as well. But I guess they didn't want Cass to get the loss, so they just have a no contest. So, yeah, I mean, all in all, Raw was okay.
I actually like seeing what they're going to do with him from week to week.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps him in the spotlight while Enzo recovers. Mm-hmm. And it's, so that way, once he comes back, the crowd's going to still be hot for him. And it's good to see Cass is still mentioning Enzo. It's like, dude, I'm fighting for him. I'm dedicating my match to Enzo. And, it shows how, loyal they are to one another. So, really good stuff. So that pretty much closes out Raw. Like I said, nothing too special. We're about 2 weeks away from Extreme Rules, so be on the lookout for our predictions in the coming weeks. Time to move into some hot topics, and this is where I think we're going to get into quite a bit of discussion because WWE decided it's time to clean house. And boy, did they ever. It kicked off with Alex Riley and Hornswoggle. Then it was El Torito, Cameron, Zeb Coulter, Wade Barrett, Damian Sandow. And it was actually announced today that it happened last week during all the big cuts, but it actually been announced today. The Brooklyn Brawler has been released.
He was like a backstage.
Yeah, he was like a talent scout and stuff like that.
Wow.
So that's a sizable amount of people. Damian Sandow, Wade Barrett, Santino, Morella, Alex Riley, Cameron, Zeb Coulter, El Torito, Hornswoggle, and Brooklyn Brawler.
You don't want to see these people get released. You want the best for everyone, but the truth is not everyone's going to succeed in WWE.
Yeah, it's a sad reality.
It's with every job. You got to inspect how people are doing their job, even though it could be the person's fault, they're not doing a good job, or it could be the company that let them down.
Yeah.
We don't know the situation.
For some, it was definitely the company. For others, it was just things just didn't work out. I mean,
but you got to make way for new people, or they're just going to be hiring everybody, and they're going to keep on spending more and more money.
Yeah, I mean,
which they could afford.
You can't bring in 50 people without letting some people out.
It was a rumor. I don't know if it's true. It's what I read online. Cameron got released because she
wanted to be taken off of TV until they figured out what to do with her.
She did the same thing. No, I thought because of it was reported because she responded to Ryback's things. Like, you remember how he posted about all the stuff, and she's like, good for you. I agree with you and all that stuff. And, but I don't know if that's true. that's just what I read.
She did say that.
And no, that part's true. I don't know if that's the reason why she got released.
It didn't help. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you want to help him? Later, you're out. So pretty big week trimming down in the WWE roster. I mean, the first one, Damian Sandow, that was a big one because the crowd was definitely hot for him. He managed to get himself over despite what the backstage politics or whatever have you wanted him to do. Like whether they wanted to go out there and make a mockery of himself by dressing up in basketball gear and getting thrown around and then teaming up with The Miz, that ended up gaining him the most popularity. So once they split that up, and I called it as soon as it happened, it was like, where do you go from here? And sure enough, they went absolutely nowhere.
Impression-wise, the mega powers until the Hulk Hogan thing.
Yeah. So, but I mean, how long can you do a parody, something like that?
Look at Charlie Haas. He did that for a while, and then they just stopped.
So,
but yeah, you can't do that forever.
Yeah, I mean, the crowd was so hot for him anytime that they saw him after the big split. And it's just sad to see because he was a talented dude. He was an entertaining guy. I wanted to see more of him, but unfortunately the WWE, had different plans for him. Doug, what are your thoughts on Damian Sandow being out?
I was never someone who was as high on Sandow as most others seem to be. I sort of look at it from the perspective of, I know he's a little bit, he's an older guy. I mean, he's not an old guy, but he's a guy who's getting older. And I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but he's got to be getting close to 40. But now I think he's got to be like 37, 38, something like that. So he's at the point in his career where if the WWE is not going to do anything serious with him, maybe it's a blessing in disguise for him to go out there and find another path.
33.
Okay. Well, that's okay. He's not very old at all then.
Yeah.
He's 33, are you sure?
33.
Okay, well, I don't know. I thought he was a little bit older than that.
Maybe he can find another place to go and get some.
Yeah, I mean, I was not as crazy about him as much as most people seem to be, but I don't know. Like, I thought he was a little bit older, so I thought it might have been like a blessing in disguise type thing.
It's the beard.
Maybe so.
Facial hair and all that makes him look a little older.
I gave him like an extra 5 years or something.
Yeah.
I read that Wade Barrett got he was going to leave anyway, but I think he got the release earlier.
Yeah.
He made it clear that he was done. He wasn't going to renew is the word. Like,
but they cut a few weeks off of it.
But that's probably what he wanted. So.
Yeah.
So it's hard to feel like sad for Barrett because I think it's what he wanted. No. I think he was done.
And I think what happens whenever they do that, whenever they do cut you off, they give you like 2 or 3 months pay. So rather than just letting your contract expire, they're like, well, hey, let us cut you, and we'll get you some farewell money, something like that. Although I can't confirm for certain because, one, I don't work for the WWE, but most companies will do that. It's sort of like a severance package or something.
As far as like Santino goes, like Santino's been off TV for so long, I forgot that he was even still with the company.
I thought he did backstage stuff.
Yeah, well, I know he's been working on his like MMA gym or something like that.
It's like a hybrid. It's MMA and like wrestling gym.
Oh.
Nice.
So I thought he was pretty much done. So this seems more like a technicality than anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he have some sort of like serious, if not semi-serious injury?
It was a neck injury, I believe.
Yeah, okay, that's what it was.
And the fact that he's 42 years old.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, he sort of made his money. He's sort of like done what he's gonna do.
He did his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I truly like have forgotten that he was like technically with the company. So that doesn't seem like a major loss. He seems like he's moved on and set up his like post-ring career already.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like Zeb Coulter, like I don't know what's like left for him to do like after whatever.
Yeah.
I think
appearances.
I thought supposedly he was going to be done a while ago, but I think they kept him on with his injury to sort of help him out financially. I think that's the understanding I got from it. But he was supposed to wrap up a while back, and then what did he hurt? Because the little scooter thing was a shoot, like he really had to be in that, or he was really.
It was for his ankle or his foot or something like that.
I don't know, but I mean, it's hard. It's hard to find another place for Zeb Coulter. You'd almost have to like revamp the whole gimmick to like make it work anywhere else. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's hard.
And the thing is, I don't really see him popping up anywhere really big. Like if he is going to appear somewhere, it's going to be somewhere kind of lower. I don't know.
Do you mean like another company, or you mean on the?
Yeah, like in the independent circuit or something like that.
Well, I think he was.
If he was on to go that route.
He was on the booking committee for a while in TNA, so like I don't know. He could maybe do some behind the scenes stuff back there or whatever.
Yeah.
El Torito, he was done after I guess they did the
Once
Los
they
Matadoras.
repackaged Los Matadoras, yeah. Just someone who just wasn't on TV ever again, so.
Well, it's almost like they brought him in specifically to do that, and then.
Like, oh yeah, we're going this different way. So thanks for your service.
Yeah, that's sad because I like Torito, but
yeah,
I guess them's a break. So I don't know. That sucks. Cameron, I thought showed some like real improvement since where she started was definitely not like anywhere near quality, but I felt like she took some initiative.
She tried.
I think she like actually wanted to get better. That whole thing wasn't just like at least I don't think it was just like a Total Divas like storyline, but she like taking herself off TV if they were going to do anything with her, bringing her back to sort of like polish up on the basics and whatever. Alex Riley, I was never a big fan of. He annoys me more than anybody, really, honestly.
Riley, rage.
Yeah. Not that I want to see him get fired or anything. I don't care. It doesn't.
Went down to NXT, then he did the commentary, then he wrestled,
then he got injured, and then he came back and was heel for 2 weeks, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. So really sad to see him go, but gotta make room.
And then there's rumors of another.
Yeah, there's rumors of another wave of releases that might be on the horizon. The other ones to talk about, Hornswoggle, have been in the company for a very long time, and he was originally there with Finley. And when Finley got taken off, so they found other things to do with Hornswoggle. And
they've so typecast him though that it'd be hard for him to do anything but what he's done.
The shtick, and comedy and all that. So,
I actually, and I saw this coming on those people and stuff like. I know that sounds bad. That sounds horrible. You can't predict it.
You look at the roster and you're like, who's being used, who's not. I mean,
that's how you see it. Whatever.
Unfortunately, there's just certain people that you're like, okay, yeah, I can see them, saying, hey, thanks for your hard work, but we got to let you go.
Yeah.
And like you said, you don't want to see anyone out of work. You don't want to see them lose a job.
No.
But on the other hand, you're bringing in AJ Styles, you're bringing in Nakamura, you're bringing in Finn Balor, you're bringing in Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, Eric Young, possibly Bobby Roode. You got to make room for these guys, So
yeah,
unfortunately, you just have to look at the roster and be like, hey, we gotta clear some space.
People are questioning the thing, or what I read online, like, oh, is Ryback going to get released now?
Yeah,
of this situation, or Adam Rose.
Well, Adam Rose is in a dispute with the trainers because he was saying that he was busted for a wellness policy violation, but according to his doctors, which provided documentation saying everything that they gave me is right here, I should not be suspended. So that's his dispute. But yeah, so Hornswoggle gone. Brooklyn Brawler. He's been with the company for 30 years. Unfortunately, had to go as well. So, sad to see people go, but that's the nature of the business. Some people
give
leave
him a watch, kick him in the butt,
yeah,
and say, "Hey, a computer took your place, Daddy."
That's hard times.
Before you go, why don't you go to, what was that room that JTG talked about?
The closet.
Yeah, go into the closet. You
The
get some
WWE
new things
headquarters.
before you leave.
I would
pick something.
clean that place out.
Gosh. Give me all your belts.
What would you, Doug, if you got to go to the WWE headquarters and go into the sacred closet, what would you take?
I mean, I'd have to see what was in it.
Everything, like any piece of merchandise that WWE has ever
merchandise that was
produced.
Well, I mean, I don't know, like, how weird they would be about, like, me going in there and just being like, well, I'll take whatever.
Well, they had, what was it, Pope D'Angelo? He went in there.
Yeah.
And they
Elijah
said
Burke.
Elijah Burke, thank you. He ended up taking 8 boxes, like big boxes of stuff home. So if you were given that opportunity to go in there, like if you were able to walk into a GameStop and Toys R Us and Best Buy, and they just gave you a shopping cart and said, hey, whatever you want, it's yours.
Then I would just, like, if they said take whatever you want, I would just literally take whatever I wanted.
What are some things that you would want? Like, would you go for the DVDs? Would you go more for the action figures, the belts?
It depends on if it was like DVDs, like commercially released DVDs, or they have like they have like their own library of like unpublished like matches and stuff like that. I would be like crazily interested in seeing like just house shows they've taped.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
They have like a bunch of shit on tape that hasn't been put out like officially, and that I would be like crazily
best of
interested in.
live events.
I don't know. That's really where I would be. Like,
I'd get a whole bunch of shirts, some title belts, some DVDs, action figures.
I wonder how much action figures they have. I wonder if they have like a stock of like older action figures.
Sure they do. I'm sure they have like that's probably their giveaway stuff, but they probably have like a vault where they have at least one of every single thing they've ever produced. I would have to imagine, because Lego does that. They have a vault of every single Lego set that has ever been produced.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I would think that they would have something like that somewhere. And if not, then that's kind of foolish on their part. But yeah, so fare thee well to those people. If we see some more, we'll make sure to let you all know. Other bit of hot topic news, Triple H not done with competing in the WWE yet. He just signed a 3-year deal to compete some more. So he's going to be...
How old is he?
Let me see.
48.
46, very close. Not bad. So he'll be wrestling until he's at least 49.
When they were doing
which will
stuff
put him to WrestleMania 35.
Overseas, I saw pictures on Facebook. It was like a tag team match. It was like Triple H and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn,
Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. So he wrestled on
he'll wrestle on occasions. Like, he'll do the WrestleMania. They'll do the SummerSlam. He'll take those spots.
I liked his page on Facebook, and he's always like showing pictures of like everything in his life.
Did you see the post?
Working out.
Did you see the post where he's wishing William Regal a happy birthday?
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Happy birthday, William Regal. I know you're not listening to the show, but happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I would be embarrassed if William Regal listened to our show.
Maybe he does. He's just like,
No.
wonder.
I'm gonna get on iTunes and I'm
I'm just
pick
gonna
something.
pick some random show, listen to what they have to
Yeah,
say.
he picked us.
I respect William Regal way too much to have him listen to our show.
Don't listen to our show, William Regal.
You wouldn't bring it up to him if you were in a room?
No.
He'd be like, so what do you do in your spare time?
I'll tell you what, I don't do a podcast.
First of all, Regal doesn't like people who aren't in the business who who use like insider terms and shit. So he would have a lot of problems with just the way we're talking right now. But I just have too much respect for Regal to be like, hey, listen to my podcast. Or I would just be embarrassed if he heard it.
Make sure you like us on Facebook.
No.
Here's our card.
WNS podcast.
Here's our card.
Yeah. Scan it.
Give him a flyer.
I want to see you. I want to watch you like it. I'm gonna make sure that it's you.
Get him to hold our belt.
Yeah. There you go.
That would never happen. None of that would ever happen. I'm just being stupid.
It wouldn't happen because if you guys tried it, I would slap the shit out of you both.
Doug's trying to hit me. I would run away from you.
What if he wanted to?
I would hope that he wouldn't.
What if he saw us carrying the belt around and he was like,
he
those
Cool
marks?
he has so much fucking knowledge of this business that I would be embarrassed to know what he would think of our stupid fucking opinions. I would literally slap you guys before you could pimp our show to that man.
Don't you talk to William Regal that way?
Yes, sir.
He will beat some respect into us. So, yeah. Happy birthday, William Regal.
Is it today?
It is today.
Oh, happy birthday.
There you go.
I hope you didn't hear me say that.
Everyone who's out there, make sure that William Regal listens to this. Anyways, final bit of hot topic news. WWE is apparently looking to bring Bash at the Beach back, and it's reportedly going to occur in Hawaii. So they are set to be going to Hawaii for a live event. It's possibly going to be televised on the WWE Network. And so far, the rumored matches to happen, pretty big.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting matches. Doug, have you heard about these?
Maybe. Tell me.
Bash at the Beach, possibly in Hawaii, live WWE Network television thing.
I can't see that far. I don't know what's on the screen.
Good, because that's.
I heard.
that was
I
the
heard
reason.
something about some matches, but I didn't know anything about Bash at the Beach.
Well, that's a rumored name that's circulating because it's
Okay.
in Hawaii, so have it at the beach, whatever. Rumored matches: Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah, I did hear these. I think.
What are your thoughts on it?
We've talked about Lesnar and Owens before. I don't know how they would. I don't know if the chemistry would be there between those guys. I think their styles are. It's hard for Owens to play the bully against someone like Brock Lesnar. I just don't know.
Against a bully,
Yeah,
a bigger bully,
Yeah.
Monster, not a bully.
a beast.
It just, I don't know. I'm not sure that's something that sounds better on paper than it might actually be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not saying it won't be good. I'm just saying I'm not sure. I'm not sold that would be awesome. But I'm intrigued by it.
Because mostly since Brock Lesnar returned, it's pretty much been a match where, he's just going to beat the heck out of you.
Yep.
For most opponents, except for one of the matches with Cena, he didn't get beat up, but another one he gave a beating. There was someone else too. It was a little different.
I just don't know if they're stylistically compatible.
Yeah.
But I'm
it'd be
intrigued.
nice.
I
Yeah.
would definitely watch it.
The next one I'm more intrigued about.
And that is the ladies. Asuka going up against Charlotte.
Well, that's not what I was talking about, but
You're not excited to see the ladies fight? What's the deal?
sure, but that's not the one I thought you were going to talk about.
This guy.
Yeah, he did that just to fuck with you, right?
Oh, okay. I was like, shit. I didn't know if that was announced or not. I was like, okay, well.
So Asuka versus Charlotte.
It's announced, but he went out of order because you said what you said.
Yeah,
Oh, they're fine.
because I know he was looking at the screen.
No, I've read it. I didn't know that was on it. I know of 2 matches.
Mm-hmm. So I think Asuka versus Charlotte should be pretty fun.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. Final matchup: it's John Cena versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
That's the one I was talking about.
I think this one has potential.
You have potential.
I do. Yay! Look, yay!
But no, that's going to be cool. I'm going to enjoy that.
How about you, Doug? What do you think? Nakamura versus Cena?
Yeah, that's hot.
All right.
Ah, shit.
What more needs to be said?
I can't wait till they like bring that to like Raw and like I don't know, does it have like a feud, but like feud, I guess. Feud.
Something I noticed about myself, maybe this is a little creepy, but if there is something I'm excited about, I seem to talk about it in like sexualized terms. Like a hot match or like a hot card. I'm like, I don't know. There's something about the brain that's like goes with the sexual lingo. Maybe that's a little creepy.
Well, sex
I don't care.
is enjoyable.
I mean, I don't give a fuck if people are creeped out by it. I'm just acknowledging the fact that it's probably a little creepy, but I'm going to keep on doing it. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Like, oh, yeah, that's sexy.
Yeah. Sexy stuff. Good stuff. So,
yeah. I remember, what was it? I forgot which match we were talking about, and you're like, oh, yeah, that gets my panties wet. Well, yeah, it was Nakamura and, was it Nakamura and Sami Zayn? Was that the one we were talking about when you said that?
Did that get your panties wet?
I mean, who knows? I could have said that about
mini matches. Mini pigs eating mini men. It was a bloodbath. So, with that being said, yeah, see, you're okay.
Okay.
I'm going to have to turn off the keyboard or something one day.
Nope.
So with that being said, it's time to go into the Q&A portion of the show. Your questions, our answers. First question coming to us from Jose saying, awesome podcast. I just have a few questions for you guys. If you guys were wrestlers, what name would you use? What would be your finisher, dream opponent? What era of WWE would you like to be debuting in? And also, if you could go on a date with a WWE diva, who would it be?
What? Sorry, I got him good. I've been writing stuff on the whole time. I'm writing things on the.
See, if you would have taken out on a date, or if you would have taken out a date with, then it would have made more sense. Okay, I'll read it just for the humor, just for the sake of humor for the audience, because you said also if you could go poop on a date with a WWE diva, who would it be? So if you would have said if you could poop on a WWE diva, who would it be?
This is if you could poop on WWE. Shit, man.
Shit, yeah.
Poop.
So I know yours would be was it John Dynamite?
Oh, I don't know. For myself?
Yeah.
Sure, because I have nothing else to come up with right now.
What's the finisher? With the Matt Hardy trunks.
Shut up. Was it? I've always liked that. What was that move that Chris Hero did? Was Hero's Welcome? What is that? That is.
I mean, I've heard it called like roll of the dice, and I've heard it called like
some sort of twisting neck breaker.
It's more like inverted.
Inverted.
Because he gets it from the other side.
Neck breaker. Yeah. Feud with?
Dream opponent?
Doug.
Whoa. What era would you be?
Now, sucker.
And if you could go on a date with a WWE diva, not poop on her, who would it be?
I think it's more interesting if you answer the question if you could shit on a WWE.
If you could shit on a WWE diva, who would it be?
I think it's more interesting.
Like, not talk trash. We're talking like defecate on a WWE
Oh,
diva.
God.
Who do you think would be into it?
Would be into it?
I think Natalia, because she had the whole farting gimmick. There is something about Natalia that let them give her a farting gimmick, so she maybe is into it a little bit.
Or maybe she's just a team player for the company and will do whatever they want her to.
And maybe she's a team player for Tyler, and then he can shit on her.
I'll look into it.
Yeah? You get back to us?
I'll get back to it.
All
I may
right.
get banned. I'll try to contact her.
Okay.
Probably get banned.
All right. Good stuff. Doug,
Good stuff.
That's
if you were a wrestler...
go follow at Tyler_Aber so we can see how fast it takes her to block him.
Did you be like, hey, would you be okay if I dumped on you?
Hey, yeah.
Doug, if you were a wrestler, what name would you use?
I'm not a wrestler, and I'm not ever going to be a wrestler.
What would your finisher be?
Non-existent.
Who's your dream opponent?
Tyler.
If you could go on a date with a WWE diva, who would it be?
Tyler.
All right. If you could shit on a WWE diva, who would it be?
Tyler.
Damn.
All right. So there you go, Jose. Thank you for the questions.
No,
we appreciate it.
You have to do it.
Tyler.
No, bullshit. You got me to say different things. And you're just.
But Doug turned it into something so much better.
Haven't you learned? That's why we always make you go first. And then we're good.
Assholes.
Next bet is from Rosewood saying, hey guys, great show as always. If I was listening on iTunes, I would give you 5 stars. So thank you very much. We appreciate that. Just make sure you give us a thumbs up on that YouTube. Yeah, and this is why I saved it for last, because it's quite a bit. I want to weigh in on the Hall of Fame talk you guys had a few weeks ago. I totally get where Doug is coming from, but I have to disagree. Sorry if this is long, guys. I just want to make sure I get my point across clearly. And in no way is this an argument. Doug is the man, and I will totally respect his opinion. Sports Hall of Famers are based on statistics like home runs, touchdowns, points, championships, win-loss records, etc. I will argue all day to anyone that WWE is a sport, but yes, it is predetermined. No one really wins championships. No one really beats anyone. This is just my opinion, but I think to be a WWE Hall of Famer, you need to impact the business and have a career that will always be remembered, not just be good in the ring. Yes, ring work is important, but being a WWE superstar isn't about just what goes on in the ring. There are a bunch of great workers that don't belong in the Hall of Fame because their characters sucked ass. Characters sucked ass. I agree with Doug that Chyna didn't have the ring skills of a great worker like Bret Hart, but there's no way anyone can say Chyna didn't impact the business in a huge way. She was pretty much the first female heater during her time with DX, women's champion, a 3-time Intercontinental champion. Again, yes, I know no one really wins these titles or matches, so Chyna was scripted to do so, but there's no way anyone who watched the Attitude Era could forget the career she had and say she wasn't one of the top female performers of all time. Looking at just her WWE career and not the choices she made or problems she had outside the WWE, Chyna is absolutely a Hall of Famer. I also don't agree with Doug's opinion that Randy Orton isn't a Hall of Famer. Let's be honest, for the most part of a decade, Randy Orton was the number 2 to John Cena before CM Punk got over. Maybe Randy wasn't the main draw, but he absolutely was a draw in some way. Randy got every gimmick he ever had over, whether it was the Evolution gimmick, the Legend Killer, the heel crazy guy punting old guys in the head, and his current babyface persona. Randy always got crowd reaction that he wanted, whether they were huge pops or boos. His in-ring work isn't the best, but it's still great, and Randy will be in the Hall of Fame, and he deserves to be there. Sorry if this was kind of long, guys, but please chime in and let me know if you guys think I'm crazy. You guys are awesome. Tyler, nothing I wrote says poop or dicks, so please don't change anything.
You said poop and dicks, so...
It literally does say poop and dicks in her thing.
And Doug, why the hell won't your job hire new people so you're not working like a slave all the time? And I got a question. How long do you guys think the WWE can keep Kevin Owens heel? It seems like you can't pay people to boo KO. Evan Cohen's.
There's a lot there, so I'm trying to decide where.
We'll start with Chyna, the rebuttal.
Okay. Maybe, okay. First of all, I said in the past, and I'm going to reiterate here, that nothing to do with anything in her life outside of the ring comes into factor whether I think she's a Hall of Famer or not. I've said that like twice now, and I'm saying it a third time, and I stand by it. Nothing I said I feel has contradicted that. And I honestly feel that it doesn't have any bearing on her career. So as far as that goes, it doesn't, affect me one way or the other. And I agree that the Hall of Fame career is not just built on solely ring work, which I also said. It's just, I think the arguments for Chyna that aren't ring work are a little bit hard to come to like put a fine point on. So let me just say like how I go about thinking about someone's career and how I go about thinking if I think they're a Hall of Famer or not. Like there are some ways that are subjective There's some ways that are more objective. One of the ways is ring work. Yes, that's very subjective. What works for me doesn't necessarily work for you. But I think not contrary, but Rosewood says that it takes more than just being a great worker to be in the Hall of Fame. I disagree. I think you can be on the Hall of Fame solely on ring work. I think you could, but I think you have to be like an elite worker. I think there are a bunch of different ways you can get in, and I think if you're elite in any one of those ways, then you automatically go in. I think you can be very good or good in more than one of those, and that helps your case also if you're not elite in any individual. Because another thing about working is peak versus volume or peak versus length of career. You know, like was someone like really great for 2 years but had a 10-year career where they were awful for the other 8? That would factor in. But I think if you're just an elite worker, you're a Hall of Famer, regardless of your anything else. Like another more objective way to look at it is drawing. That is, you know, I think some people shy away from that, but it is more objective because there are numbers that back up if this guy excels in an area or not. Like if a guy or a girl in this case, or in any case, it sounds pretty sexist. I don't mean to come off that way. If a person comes off, if a person's on top and they are put in the main event, they're responsible for drawing, and they move business for a company, then that's objectively saying like people wanted to see this person. So just because, even if it's someone I didn't like, if they objectively move the needle for business for a company, that is saying a lot of people like them. So they are a big enough draw to qualify. You know, it's not Hall of Fame's not like tailored to my personal taste. So I think if you're just like a draw and you're a lousy worker, you're still a Hall of Famer. If you are like an exceptional draw, like a top guy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Big Daddy, and he's not someone I'm like super duper familiar with. I don't know a ton about like World of Sport shit, but Big Daddy was a guy who, by all accounts, was an absolute shits of a worker, but was a huge draw and did a lot of big business.
Yeah, never heard
so, of him. Regardless if he could work a lick or not, just by his drawing ability alone, it seems like he would be a Hall of Fame candidate. So I think that someone who's awful but did huge business is still a Hall of Famer. I think some other ways to look at it are like, I think Rosewood mentions this, their impact on the business. I think that is a way to judge a career. I think another way is like not cultural relevance, more like cultural significance, maybe is a good way of putting it, where you got guys like Hogan or guys like maybe like Santo and Blue Demon who are synonymous with wrestling, but at the same time like transcend wrestling. So it's like this weird thing of they're automatically identifiable with wrestling, but also like transcended as a medium. I think that's another way to look at someone's career like that. But I think, and there are other like nuanced ways of looking at this, and I think that, you know, if you're great in any one of those, like if you are exceptional in any one of those categories, you're a Hall of Famer without having, even if you're shit and everything else. But if you're like pretty good in 1 or 2 or 3, then that like helps build your case, and you may still be a Hall of Famer who's more even leveled than, you know, one exceptional or not. Now, Rosewood agreed with me that she didn't think like China was a great worker, so I'm not even going to touch that. We were in agreement on that. Like that doesn't come into play here. I think where we are in disagreement is how to quantify like her star power, or how to quantify her uniqueness, or maybe like cultural like significance. Maybe I'm trying to put this in a way that makes sense, or I'm trying to work it like out of my head at the same time as I'm just like going back and forth with her. But I don't think that you could say China was a draw in any like real way. So in her career outside of the WWE was so minuscule that it's not even worth mentioning, honestly. Now, China's prominence was in the Attitude Era, where she was not even. Austin was a clear number one, or Rock was a close number two, or some people would argue, I think Austin's clearly like the number one, like draw that era. She is not someone that you can definitively say is responsible for drawing in that era. I don't even think that you could definitively say that she was, if we get into gender, which I sort of hate to do, but if it sort of plays in the argument, if we get into gender, it is not even, I mean, I think a lot of people would argue she's not even the number one female star of that era. I think some people would argue Sable. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with that, but I think that it is arguable enough to where you can't definitively say China was the biggest women's star of that era. I think that is vague enough, because I think a lot of people would argue Sable. So I don't think that. So you definitely can't attribute drawing power to her, because she was definitely not moving the fucking needle like Steve Austin and The Rock were moving the needle.
For sure.
I'm sure that a lot of fans identified with her character and liked her, but a memorable, identifiable character to me doesn't necessarily make you a Hall of Famer. Now, what I do find interesting about Rosewood's argument, and something that I didn't consider before, and probably is the most intriguing part of Rosewood's whole like spiel here, is that she says that she was the first female heater. Now, that seems to be true. I can't think of another one before her, although I'm not 1,000% positive there wasn't some like obscure or something somewhere.
Yeah.
So taking it at face value that she was the first female heater, that seems to me that's an argument for cultural significance. And so maybe that would be her best argument, in my opinion, as a Hall of Fame candidate. Although I would add the caveat that nobody else in any other Hall of Fame, whether it be the sham of a WWE Hall of Fame, the Observer Hall of Fame, the Cauliflower Club, any of that shit, no one in any of those Hall of Fames is there solely for being a heater. Like, I mean, there are people in those Hall of Fames who have been heaters but had gone on to like expand on that. And I don't think China was obviously more than a heater. She like grew out of that role. But I don't know how to quantify everything in that role that she grew out of. But I do think, I would not argue, I think it's a good argument and a good point that Rosewood brings up, and I would not argue a case against cultural significance of her being like the first female heater, although I don't know how significant the role of heater is in the role like of Hall of Fame in general. So I don't know. But I do thank you for writing in, because that was a good point that I had not considered. And as far as Randy Orton goes, oh man, we're in agreements that he is not a top-notch worker, so I don't put him in the elite worker category. And he's the number two. I don't know how much you can attribute to him moving business. First of all, he was the number two guy in a company during a severely down like business period for them. So I don't know. It's not like he was the number two guy in the company, like The Rock was the number two guy in the company when they were fucking rocking every place they were at, making all that fucking money.
Yeah.
I mean, Cena's is different to be the number one guy in a down period than to be the number two guy in a down period, because the number one guy in a down period, the fucking company's on your back. Mm-hmm. And I think that was clearly the case with John Cena. Whether you like John Cena or not, whether you think he's a good worker or not, he's inarguably the top guy in not just his company, in not just his country, in his fucking industry. And that's an inarguable Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, Randy Orton is not the top guy in his company. He was not even the top guy in his country, because during that period, guys like Mystico, who was the original Sin Cara, was doing like Cena numbers in Mexico. So he's not even number 2 or 3 draw in the world. Not that you have to be a 2 or 3 draw in the world, but he's a second guy in a company during a down period in business. I don't know how you can make a rock solid argument for him as a draw, because I don't think it exists. And I don't think he's a great worker. And he's certainly cultural significance and transcendence don't even come to play with Randy Orton. I don't know. I take your argument for China, and I think that's a really good point about the first female heater thing, but I can't even agree with the I'm way more in favor of China than Randy Orton, I'll put it that way. Mm. And she may have said some other, or they may have said some other stuff, and I just don't even remember at this point.
How long do you think the WWE can keep Kevin Owens heel?
I don't know. You guys talk for a little bit. I feel like I've been talking too long.
I mean,
They can keep him for a long time, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
because I think he does a good job.
He's proven that he can do whatever it needs to be done in order to try and stay a heel. As popular as he is,
I think it's gonna be for a while because eventually he's gonna be on top. I feel like not now, but he's gonna eventually have the title.
He'll get there.
Heel and
in the next 2 or 3 years, I can see him winning the WWE Championship once or twice.
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, yeah, that'd be an excellent opportunity for him. I think he should get Money in the Bank. But yeah, really good stuff. Thank you everyone for the questions and the good debates. Really enjoy that kind of stuff. It makes the show a little bit more interesting whenever we get to go back and forth. But make sure to submit your questions on our YouTube channel, WNSvideo. Also our Facebook page, WNS Podcast. Check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com, WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook. And make sure to subscribe to our show on iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We are on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm.
Yep.
Just search WrestlingNewsSource.com.
Podcast.org.
At WNS Podcast on Twitter, at WNS_Daniel, at Tyler_Aber.
There you go. For the podcast crew, I am Daniel Herron.
Oh shit, I'm Tyler Aber.
I'm Doug.
And we will catch you all next week.